in Kuala Lumpur. My father was a travel agent, which was a hell of a lot more important before the internet. Before I was born, he ran tours through the USSR, driving a tour bus and telling clients to bring extra pairs of American-style jeans they could sell to the locals. Later, after the breakdown of the Soviet Union, my father mostly concentrated his business on Eastern Europe. We lived in Moscow for a month while he set up an office there. We went to China, to my uncle's home, and on the Silk Road, road testing potential guest houses. I'm not sure why Dad became fixed on Eastern Europe and Central Asia, but it was definitely a world apart from where he grew up. Dad came from white, middle-class Adelaide. In his childhood, he had a horse in the Adelaide Hills. He was a Boy Scout. He was from a generation where the ability to play tennis and squash was an important social currency. My dad's family are all still in South Australia. Every year at Christmas, we drove from Sydney to Adelaide to see them, which for me meant 14 hours in the back seat with the dog at my feet. My dad was good-looking. He was tall, with wavy brown hair and blue eyes, and a loud, juddering laugh like a lawnmower starting. He liked to look smart. He impressed on me the near unassailable merits of wearing navy blue. My dad and we didn't look alike. But this never rang any alarm bells for me. I can only say to you, mixed-race children, we never quite fit. We never look like our parents. We never fully belong to anyone, except, occasionally, to one another. One reason, perhaps, that the physical disconnect between my father and me never bothered me was because temperamentally we were so similar. We understood each other. We could make each other laugh. When I was too young to go to school, he woke up early and left me drawing exercises. He took me to sport and to work with him on weekends. And when I started high school, he was very strict. I get annoyed every time someone raises the racist stereotype of the tiger mother, because it was my white father, not my Chinese mother, who decided that success was not optional. Dad never went to university. He left high school early. He regretted both, I think, and consequently he was obsessed with my education. He was something of a helicopter parent in pre-helicopter parent times. He made sure I played hockey and basketball. He made sure I learned piano. He even found me a piano teacher while we stayed in Moscow so I could keep it up. Dad monitored all my school results. He argued with me about my subject choices. He bought me novels at the drop of a hat and wrote in each one, noting the date and the place and the pretext for the gift. When I was 15 and studying German in high school, I asked to go on a 3-month student exchange to Germany. I was pretty blasé about the enormity of it until the last minute. But at the airport, I suddenly felt a lurch at the thought of leaving my parents and all that familiarity, all that family. "I'm afraid," I blurted. My dad hugged me. "Don't be afraid. Never be afraid." That was the last thing he said to me, face to face. On a white Christmas day in Germany, I got a phone call. Apparently, my father had fallen off a ladder and broken his arm. But my mother's voice shook on the phone. I was to come home. I was angry, an extremely unhelpful adolescent response at having to cut short my exchange. I packed up all my stuff, and my host parents took me to the airport. We made it to the departure gates, and my German host mother, who, until then, had been extremely no-nonsense, squashed me in a hug and started to cry. I put the tears down to her being an unexpected softie. In Singapore, I had a 7-hour stopover to try to work out what on earth had just happened. My exchange was over, almost before it had begun. How would I explain this to my friends? Teenagers, chronically self-absorbed. I flew into baking hot Adelaide. My mother and my godfather picked me up from the airport. My mother didn't recognise me until I stood right in front of her saying her name. It seemed I'd grown. In the car, I told them I had a present for Dad, a huge twist of boiled aniseed lollies bought at the airport in Germany. Dad loved licorice with the fever of an addict. "When can I give it to him?" I asked. I saw my godfather driving and my mother in the front passenger seat exchange a glance.